A new challenger approaches in Pioneer. PT Brussels and PT Nagoya were dominated by a brand new deck coming out of the woodworks, and the meta, it kind of took over. Let's talk today about Dimir Inverter and see some gameplay. The video starts right now. Special thanks to our Patreon supporters who power our channel. Check out our Patreon for monthly giveaways, exclusive content, and even a starring role in our fan fight series. Link in the description below. Hello and welcome to the day. Thank you for spending your time with us. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. I am Joel. We are going to talk about Dimir Inverter in Pioneer, but first, if you wouldn't mind, think about subscribing by the end of the video if you like it, and remember that we've got a special deal going on over at our Patreon right now. The next 5 people to sign up for our Patreon get a free Jake and Joel Are Magic shirt with our new logo, so make sure to go check that out. The link is down in the description below. Let's pop over to MTGO and look at Dimir Inverter. This deck is pretty dope. I rented this deck and recorded some gameplay and looked at a couple of different versions of this actually before the Players Tour happened, but after it became such a big thing, I knew I had to go ahead and get this video out to you so you could see how this deck operates. Special thanks to @WillErker on Twitter. He is the one that I took the list that I liked the most from, and the one that I've been playing. The entire deck is built around this card, Inverter of Truth. When it enters the battlefield, exile all cards from your library face down, and then shuffle your cards from your graveyard into your library. So essentially your library goes away, your graveyard becomes your library. Then you cast Thassa's Oracle that hopefully is looking at a library that's got 2 or fewer cards in it. If X is greater than or equal to the number of cards in your library, you win the game, where X is your blue devotion. That's it. It's playing Inverter of Truth when you get it, and then hit a Thassa's Oracle right behind it. With blue-black, you're able to protect the combo, so you get access to some counter magic, you get access to some hand fixing, you get some draw, some go look for your combo pieces, and then even in the sideboard, you see we get to run things like Dispel, we get to run things like Mystical Dispute, some removal for the counter mirrors, some disruption for the counter mirror, some removal in case we're playing against a creature deck, and that's what it does. The second win con is Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. If you've got Wielder out here, you draw a card where your library has no cards in it, you win. So that kind of combines with Inverter of Truth as well to provide a second win con. As you can see, the other cards in here are pretty self-explanatory. We've got a lot of gameplay to cover, so I want to jump into 2 best ofs that we played and show you how the deck operates. We keep this opening hand. We've got a Thassa's Oracle, so we've got a piece of our combo already. We've got a little bit of dig and a little bit of interaction. We see a Eidolon on the first turn, so we're looking at maybe auras, maybe a little Bant aura action happening. But, however, all we're going to try and do is disrupt their game plan. We're going to stay open with Fatal Push here in case they try and drop some kind of aura onto the creature they've already got. But they drop a Life's Bounty enchantment creature. They're swinging for 1. It's fine. We're not too worried about this. We've got lands in case we draw our combo piece, and we've got the opt. We opt away the negate. We're not too worried about that right now because we can fatally push either one of these creatures and or ultimate price either one of these creatures. So the counterspell seems innocuous now. They're also only on 1 mana, so this is the perfect opportunity here. We're going to 2 for 1 on the 1/1. They're going to waste their Curious Obsession. They've still got the 1/1 lifelinker, but they couldn't give it protection at the time. So again, we take 1, we're fine, we pass. We see a Thassa's Oracle here, and so at this point we can get a blocker out there so the 1/1 can stop swinging through, and we can go ahead and dig down. So we can here, which one do we want? We're just going to put the Murderous Cut on top and put the other card away. We didn't really need it, so we're in a fine place. They're still only on 1 mana, and they end up conceding. I think their hand was just crap. You know, at that point, that was just a waiting game. We were going to remove most of what they tried to do, and they would have had to have a big turn to turn a corner on that one. As far as the deck goes, there's not many changes that you make for this matchup, you know? I mean, it's very focused around Inverter of Truth, Thassa's Oracle, and Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. You've got some top end there, Scarab God, Torrential Gearhulk, just to give you some flashback on something, or give you a little bit of an aggro board, you know, if you can start building up some zombies, and the Scarab God's horrible to deal with. This opening hand is absolutely dope. We've got our Inverter of Truth, which it doesn't matter. I mean, if they counter it, that's fine. But once it enters the battlefield, it's awesome for us, because the next turn we can jam a Thassa's Oracle. We know we're not going to have to deal with counter spells in this matchup, at least we think. We've really only seen everything very aura-based, very enchantment-based. They're going to get in for 2 here. We're not terribly worried about this. We maybe should have just... you know, we didn't actually... Oh, yeah, looking at the lands, we actually didn't have an untapped black source there. So, as long as, you know, they're going to get 1 turn of this on the attack, Helm of the Gods is going to go there, and we can fatally push next turn. All we're trying to do is survive so that we can get our Inverter of Truth onto the battlefield on turn 4, and then on turn 5, drop that Thassa's Oracle. So, you know, we need a 4th mana, but between now and then, we should be good to go. They drop some more creatures onto the battlefield. They're now on 2 cards in hand, so if we can slow this board down just a little bit more, then we're going to be able to win this. We don't think that we're going to have to worry about counter spells, so we go ahead and play a Thassa's Oracle to try and dig down to a land. Unfortunately, in the top 2 cards, we don't see one. So we put one on top, other goes on the bottom, and we try and catch a land the next time around. We've got the Dig Through Time, but we're not quite there to cast it. Don't have enough in our graveyard. I do like Dig Through Time in this deck, though, because it empties stuff out of your graveyard, so that when you do Inverter of Truth, if the game has gone long and you've cast a lot of spells, you can get those out of your graveyard, so you've got less of a depth to dig to with your Thassa's Oracle to make this happen. We go ahead and Thoughtseize here just because we need some options. We've got a Fatal Push that we can cast. You know, they are going to counter this unless we pay 1, and honestly, we'll just pay the 1. We're going to get 2 cards out of this now. Yeah, so the Paladin goes down, the Stubborn Denial goes down. Not sure what that move was, but we'll absolutely pay the 1. We've got Fatal Push for if anything crazy happens. They're on the attack step here, so we figure, you know what, let's just go ahead and fatally push this. You know, they will protect it, obviously, with the bounty, and that's fine. We got to get that out of here anyway. Right now, we're just in, we need a land. We're hoping to top deck a land. That is what we're looking for here. You know, we're down to 11 at this point, and we see another Inverter of Truth. And so at this point, we're kind of getting frustrated. We need to see this land. You know, it's like, do we cast the Oracle here? I don't think so, because we could dig down and look, but we don't really want to. We've got a 2-3 here. Now it's getting a little bigger with the Helm of the Gods on the battlefield. Now it's a 3-4. So, you know, we can take this. We can chump with the Thassas. We're still fine. It puts us to 8. Not terribly worried still, because if we can get a 6-6 out there, excellent, an untapped land. If we can get a 6-6 out there, not only is it a fantastic blocker for any attacks, but all we have to do is survive 1 more turn. That's it. We've got 3 cards on the top, in the graveyard, excuse me. That's going to make it draw 1 at the beginning of our next turn. We got 2 more cards, and then Thassa's Oracle is going to either hit for 4 if our 1 Thassa's Oracle stays on the board, or for 2, which is going to win us the game anyway. So we have an obligatory swing here. That's a little loose. You don't need to swing there, so you might as well stay open just in case you need to double block on this thing, because, you know, if it gets some trample, some double strike, some craziness happen, you can do that. You can do that. But right here, we'll just throw the Inverter in front of it. We don't really care about the Inverter at this point. It matters not. You know, we just need to resolve this Thassa's Oracle, and we're going to win the game. So we can go ahead. It's nice because we can Thoughtseize preemptively, see what's in the hand. If there's some kind of Stubborn Denial counterspell, we see that we're absolutely home free. We cast the Thassa's Oracle, we look at our cards, we don't care that they're Fatal Pushes, and we win. Going into our second match, we win the die roll, so we do get to choose. We've got 3 lands and double Thoughtseize, Inverter, Torrential. It's one of our combo pieces, so it's nice to wake up with one of our combo pieces. I also realized after a while of playing this deck, you can mulligan pretty aggressively here. If you don't have at least a combo piece in your opening hand, With the London Mulligan, it's not a terrible strategy other than rolling the dice that you'll get a second hand that's terrible, that you may be able to at least pick up a combo piece in your opening hand. We drown Catacomb. We don't care. We're moving on. We're passing the turn. We're yielding to our opponent. We're waiting to see what they have to play. Our opponent didn't mulligan down to 6, so we got to deal with that. We see an Elvish Mystic and we know right out of the gate, well, we are playing against a green deck. What can we do to possibly slow down this madness? We've got a 10/10 Gigantosaurus, but we don't want to start taking 5 from that thing every turn real quick. How about we just take both of them and we say, alright, your go. This is a deck that this deck kind of has a problem with until you get into your sideboard match, because we do carry a lot of counter magic in the main board here, but it's not the right kind of counter magic to deal with a green deck. And if they get a quick start, you see we've got Surik already on turn 3. If they get a quick start and you can't do anything about it, then you might be screwed. Now, we get lucky. We see Thassa's Oracle, we've already got the Inverter, we've got the mana to cast it, we've survived this long. Now, Inverter's going to swap it here, we're playing green, so it's not going to be counterspelled. So essentially, we're forcing them here to do 16 damage next turn. And that's the kind of start that this deck can have. Steelleaf Champion, who cares? They can swing all they want, that's great. Some things are going to have haste. They're still not going to be able to do 16 because we can throw the Inverter in front of something. We do not care. We're about to Thassa's Oracle next turn and win. Yeah, just block. We don't want any kind of giant growth. We don't want any kind of ridiculousness. Yep, there you go. +6/+6. That's what I'm talking about. If we hadn't blocked there, that would have been game. It's expendable. We've got the Thassa's Oracle here, so we win game 1. We'll go into sideboarding, and we know that all of the counter stuff can come out. We need to put in more removal. We've got not a ton. We put in another Devour Flesh. We've got the Murderous Cut. Liliana's not a terrible one because the power toughness reduction that she does, we can at least try and slow them down a little bit. It's not perfect. This hand, 6 lands and a dig through time. This is one that I would toss back, almost 10 times out of 10. We see a Thoughtseize, we see an Anticipate and an Opt, so we don't have any of our pieces, but we do have a Thoughtseize that maybe we can slow them down with. They get another turn 1 Mystic, which is just, that has to be expected with these green decks. That's what's going to happen. But we'll go ahead and play our Fetid Pools out there. And from there on out, we'll be dropping untapped lands. See a Yorvo. Yep, off to the quick start that these green decks are capable of. In the future, maybe some kind of board wipe, maybe some kind of mass return I would look at for the sideboard, just to deal with these really fast creature decks. Not much we can do about the Yorvo right now, so we can Thoughtseize and see what they're probably going to play next, and that's Surak. Surak can really mess you up real quick if everything's coming in with haste. Not fun to deal with. Here we're going to be able to opt at the very least. We are going to, take 6 from this attack if they attack all out, which, at this point, why wouldn't they? But they needed the mana to cast a 1/1 with the Lovestruck Beast. They're doing exactly what they need to be doing against this deck, and that's going wide. There's not a lot of board wipe in this deck. I think they know that. Them sacrificing their 1/1 right now, it just doesn't matter to us. We do see a Jace, so, we're not completely dead, except we kind of are. 5/5 on the board, 2/2 that gets bigger, or at least adds power to the attack. We've got 3 power across some 1/1s, and some Lovestruck Beasts are about to be hitting the field. Or something bigger, which is exactly what happens. Galta at this point is more than easily played by our opponent, and this is going to be a huge swing here, and this is pretty much going to do it in for us. I don't think they even needed the Galta other than a flex, but that's how it goes. Sometimes that green deck absolutely overwhelms you, and you just got to deal with it. We go into game 3, we got the decision, so we might as well play first. We see some lands, we pitch that one back. We are trying to aggressively mulligan for our combo, and unfortunately we just don't hit it. and what was probably a pretty loose mull turns into a pretty devastating, start for game 3. We've got some removal. We've got two lands that are going to come into play tapped, which is a huge bummer. Slows us down even further. But we can remove 2 creatures, so if we happen to get lucky and draw our combo pieces and some lands to cast Inverter, possibly we could get there. Our opponent, it looks like mulled down as well. They are on 4 cards there with 5 and 6 on the board. We can go ahead and fatally push the Land War Elves and just slow them down. That's fine. We've got the Fatal Push number 2. We've got Ultimate Price. They have another elf. They're being a little mana starved, though, and we do see an Oracle, okay? So we'll keep the Land War Elf off the board. We'll just keep them slowed down. Hope that they're not drawing mana or at least giving us extra turns. They do draw second mana, and they ramp up a little bit more. However, we've got the Ultimate Price. We can slow them down even more. Right now, we really need a second blue source, primarily. We need 2 more lands, and we need to see an Inverter. And we need one of those 2 lands. It would be nice if it was an island first, so that we can Thassa's Oracle and maybe dig down a little bit. The Steel Leaf hits the battlefield and starts the clock. The Inverter hits our hand, and suddenly we're going, all right, how do we draw 2 lands? We are going to need a blue mana so that we can Thassa's Oracle, dig a little bit, hopefully put that 4th mana on top while providing a body on the ground to block something. It can't block the Steel Leaf Champion, but, we'd rather destroy the Steel Leaf and not take the damage from that. Also knowing that, the Thassa's, should we draw blue mana, which we don't, could have blocked the Lovestruck Beast. So here is a pretty big turning point. If we can get a 4th mana right now on the next draw, we might can do this, but then we see Galta, and it's pretty much too late at this point. Even if we are at 12, and see, we are 1 turn behind. If these 2 lands had come instead of that second Thassa's Oracle, we would have had this hand. And, I think that speaks to... It was a terrible mulligan, don't get me wrong, but I think it speaks to how the deck can just suck out a win on you if you draw your combo pieces. And, as long as you're not playing against blue-white control, which is prevalent, then, you are going to stick your cards and you're going to be able to hit that combo. So we see that they're attacking out. Even if we block here, this is going to be lethal. And next turn, we would have won. Thanks so much for watching. Like I said, if you wouldn't mind hitting like, hitting subscribe down there, it really helps us out. If you want to join our Patreon, now is the best possible time. Next 5 people get a t-shirt, so make sure to go take advantage of that. If you want to hang out with us, we've got a Twitch, streaming most Tuesday and Thursday evenings over there, so come hang out. If you want to talk to us, hit us up on Twitter. Otherwise, I'm tapped out. Catch you later.